Ladies and gentlemen, this is TVP World. You're watching another edition of Break the Fake, where we debunk fake news and combat false narratives. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee, and let's get rolling. Now, by signing a decree declaring 2026 the so-called Year of Unity of the People of Russia, Vladimir Putin once again treated himself to his favorite ritual, repeating the familiar sets of propaganda mantras, almost full employment, low unemployment, and of course the sacred promise of an inevitable technological breakthrough. The picture is radiant, almost like an advertising clip, just without the small print at the bottom explaining who actually pays for the optimism.
Обеспечение устойчивого развития страны и укрепления ее суверенитета. В этой большой работе участвует абсолютное большинство граждан нашей страны. Молодежь, люди разных поколений. От их профессионализма, знаний, таланта, компетентности зависит достижение поставленных нами задач. Вот для справки тоже хотел бы сказать, что доля занятых среди экономически активного населения достигла 97,8%, а безработица снизилась до 2,2%. Это очень высокий показатель занятости и исторически низкая безработица.
Now, according to the Kremlin leader, 97.8% of the population in Russia is employed. A number so flawless, it raises a simple question. Is this the share of people who actually work, or the share of people already assigned somewhere in the military, defense industry, or just neatly filed inside the statistics? Reality is far less glossy, you see. The state is massively cutting paid university places, slamming the door on social mobility for young people. The menu of option is short, and it mostly looked like camouflage in a contract or a factory tied to the war effort. Low unemployment is achieved with a bureaucratic sleight of hand. If someone is sent to the front or moved to a 4-day work week, they are still proudly counted as employed. Formally, unemployment is low. Informally, it has been swept under the rug. State-owned enterprises are cutting hours and freezing wages, while the civilian labor market keeps shrinking. Mobilization and war have turned into a universal employment program. Great for reports, useless for the economy. The result is a country with almost full employment that somehow also suffers from labor shortages, rising poverty, and total dependence on military orders. Stability is indeed present if you count stable deterioration.
Сейчас, решая текущие и среднесрочные задачи кадровой политики, мы должны думать и быть готовыми к тем системным изменениям, которые несет искусственный интеллект вместе с собой. Технологическая перестройка всегда приводила к исчезновению одних и появлению других, новых профессий. Но в этот раз перемены носят более глубинный характер. Сами принципы подготовки специалистов и их последующего карьерного роста кардинально трансформируются. Традиционная траектория поэтапного развития карьеры от получения образования, затем должности младшего сотрудника и далее до руководителя будет, безусловно, меняться. Значительно увеличится спрос на специальности и на отдельные специальности и специалистов высшего уровня, в то время как искусственный интеллект будет постепенно заменять работников начальных ступеней, в том числе креативного и даже интеллектуального труда.
The same optimism surrounds statements about Russia's technological breakthrough and leadership in artificial intelligence. In words, it's almost Silicon Valley. In practice, the number of inventions has dropped to a minimum in more than 20 years, and patent activity has fallen by almost 40% compared to the pre-war period. Most innovations are pretty much just recycled solutions or reworked foreign developments. But in isolation, a relabeled product counts as an import substitution, and a slide with the letters AI magically becomes a breakthrough. Now, slap a fresh coat of paint and voila. The outcome of this version of Putin's stability is simple. real economic indicators are replaced by loud declarations. Behind the slogans about unity, progress, and adaptation to challenges lies a personal crisis, the degradation of science and an economy fully subordinated to war. The years of the unity of people seems designed to unite everyone around one core belief that there are no problems in the country, only a misunderstanding of reality. And if something feels wrong, it just means that you haven't finished cooking the books just yet. The Russian propaganda machine has once again demonstrated a simple rule. If reality is inconvenient, just invent a better one. Now, this time, Kremlin sources circulated a fake claim, allegedly from the Institute for the Study of War, stating that only 30% of France's nuclear forces are usable. Sounds ominous, almost cinematic, like the opening voiceover to a disaster movie. It's just one problem. The ISW never said this at all. See, there's no information anywhere, neither on the official website nor on the social media accounts of the Institute for the Study of War, about any 30% readiness of the French nuclear arsenal. More than that, the ISW does not conduct technological audits of NATO countries' nuclear forces. This is like asking meteorologists to check the brakes on a tank. Curious perhaps, but completely irrelevant. Still, such details never stop Russian propaganda. If a respected Western institution did not say what Kremlin needs, it will be politely corrected and quoted anyways. Now, the purpose here is not analysis or expert debate. The task is much simpler: to undermine trust in European institutions and sell the comforting illusion that NATO is weak, Europe is unprepared, collapse is just around the corner, yada yada, we've heard it all. At this point, it's pretty much just mental self-care for the domestic audience. When things are going badly at home, it helps to believe that the neighbor is doing even worse. So we get another case of pure eyeball analytics. The ISW published nothing, France lost nothing, NATO did not collapse. But in the parallel universe of Russian propaganda, the West has once again almost fallen apart. In St. Petersburg, security forces dispersed around 70 people who gathered for what they call spiritual meetings. They came to talk about life, consciousness, meaning. Nothing political, at least, not officially. Their real mistake was praying for the wrong people and doing so without permission. You see, the group described itself as spiritual. Lectures, discussions about the inner world, and a search for harmony. But harmony, as law enforcement quickly explained, means no freedom of thought. Officers were especially alarmed that participants prayed for Volodymyr Zelenskyy. Not for the ruble, not for stability, not for the usual abstract slogans, just for the Ukrainian president. And at that point, a harmless discussion circle was instantly reclassified as a threat to national security.
Полиция, всем оставаться на своих местах. Предъявить документы для проверки.
Я.
Как это?
Ольга Борисовна.
Фамилия?
Да, Ольга.
Хорошо.
Школа единого принципа учит нас любви. Как жить по светлым принципам.
Где основана школа единого принципа была?
Школа единого принципа была основана на Украине.
Здесь люди, присутствующие, все из города Санкт-Петербурга? Или из других регионов есть?
По-разному. Есть
Из других регионов, поднимите руки, пожалуйста.
Архангел Михаил, апостолы Христовы и все святые, молите Бога о нас. Защитите Владимира Зеленского и его команду и всех защитников.
And now the participants are being checked for wrong thoughts. In the 21st century, this is a new kind of inspection. Not medical, not psychological, but ideological. Think incorrectly and you are already a suspect. Investigators are considering charges for spreading fakes, with sentences of up to 10 years in prison, officially for disinformation. In reality, for unapproved spirituality. The message is clear: in modern Russia, even faith needs clearance. You can pray, but only for the right people. You can think, but not out loud. And enlightenment is allowed only if it follows the official guidelines. Otherwise, it ends not with peace of mind, but with paperwork. And with that, we conclude this edition of Break the Fake. But for more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned to TVP World.